Hello, everyone. You are welcome to Black History 365 2022. It was amazing celebrating the launch of the Black History Month at Woolwich Walk with all our representative councillor, cabinet member for culture equality, the leader of the council, and also the guy that actually hosted and one of our new elected councillor from Woolwich Arsenal. I didn't call it Posh Arsenal today. It's like a Woolwich Arsenal. So it was a lovely celebration on the 31st or 30th of September. And then we kick it off from the BFEG platform at the 1st October, celebrating the Nigeria independence. It has been an amazing time. You're welcome to our live show. I know some people have missed us. They've been asking, why have we not been on the air? We are busy trying to run too many things at the same time. That's why we've not been on air. But you're welcome again. My name is Lucy Isaiah, your host today, and AKA, as they usually call us, Madam CEO. I'm also here today with my co-host, Tammy Agedo, AKA Madam Shosho, in the house. And we have our regular and popular guest in the house. You know, they say teamwork is great. He has been an amazing, and not everyone is always looking forward to his presentation. Tammy, I will give you the honor, our Madam Shosha, to actually welcome this, our powerful hosts. And I believe they've enjoyed the independence celebration. So Tammy, over to you. Can you introduce our guests in the house?
Thank you so much, Madam CEO. Hey, hello, everyone. Like Lucy said, it's been a long time. We've been busy anyway. We've been cooking. So we are going to start. We're going to start giving you all our delicacies bit by bit. So watch out, watch the space. You're going to see everything. So anytime me and Lucy wants to talk about this particular gentleman, we remember one song, Ide Boma. It's one of our favorites.
Ide Boma, Tego, ya, Tego.
So let's welcome this evening, Mr. Cletus. He's been giving us all the vibes. Like he said, oh, we've not called him, we've not checked on him, but he's coming all the way from Lagos, Nigeria. So, Mr. Cletus, good evening, sir.
Good evening, everyone. Good to be with you again, ladies. I must commend Madam Zosha is looking South African today. And yes, it is only Lucy that is looking like a British woman when we are presenting African program. It's going to be fun today because we're discussing something that is very historic, something that is deep. And I hope the Lord Almighty will reveal certain things to us so that we'll learn and enjoy ourselves. Good to be with you again.
Yes, thank you. So you're going to let you shoot now, isn't it? Our ears are itching.
Okay. First, I want to say congratulations to all Nigerians all over the world. This is the third day. The first, like Lucy said, was our Independence Day. Nigeria is 62, even though we haven't achieved more, but it's a great nation. The topic today is African masquerades. African masquerades. So we're going to look at 3 segments of African masquerade: the history and the origin, number 1. Number 2, we look at types of masquerades in West, Central, and East Africa, because we can't cover the whole of Africa in 1 hour. Then, of course, we look at the social and cultural relevance of masquerades in Africa. But before we go into the 3 segments that we are looking at today, we need to, what is masquerade? Well, the English dictionary is saying that masquerade is a false show or pretense. That's someone pretending to be who he is not. And when we read books written by Shakespeare, he says the eye of the childhood does not fear, it's only the child, or the eye of the child that fears a painted devil. And you can ascribe one of the painted devils as a lot of masquerade that we have in Africa. But is that what masquerade means to the African? The answer is no. Masquerade means the spirit of the ancestors that has come to commune with us, to live with us. Masquerade means it represents the symbol of control and security. Masquerade represents the symbol of entertainment in festivals, in events, in rituals. Masquerades definitely mean a lot more than what the dictionary meaning tells us. So what is the origin of masquerades? Well, if you saw anything, it's one of those things where 62, we still have it. It's only perhaps from Nigeria, it's beautiful. Where is the origin of masquerade? History has it that over 8,000 years ago, the Fulanis of West Africa originated masquerade. Masquerade started with the Fulanis of West Africa, from Futajalon, the Gambia, Senegal, down to Mali, and recently straight into Nigeria. That's how much you can say concerning the West African. But there's a bit of a deeper history that has to do with the Igbo of the Ishan clan in Nigeria. And history has it that hunters, great hunters in those days that used to go to the forests, especially virgin forests or unspoiled forests, as it were, to hunt for a long time, because their expeditions or their hunting time usually takes during quiet hours, so that they can come in contact with their game. Some of them had contact with, as it were, according to them, spirits, and they found spirits maybe in a large place dancing and singing. And so these hunters, when they got back home, they started teaching humans, their friends, what they saw in the forest at other hours. And they felt, they were sure that it was a spirit. And this Igbabonarim is one of the very unique masquerades in Africa. Actually, if you see the Igbabonarim dancing, you will start feeling dizzy, you that is watching, not to talk of the man. They can turn for more than, I'm not exaggerating, over 50 times. Like in the air, they're just, we just touch the floor and they keep dancing that way. And this is what they passed on from generation to generation, and it's been there for hundreds and thousands of years. And the name is gotten from clapping and spirits. So they said the spirits are communing with us. That is what I can say about the little history that we want to share today. But there are so many types of masquerades in the whole of Africa. Let's start with Ijele. Ijele is a very massive masquerade, indigenous to the people of Enugu in the eastern part of Nigeria. And Ijele is one of the biggest masquerades ever. Ijele can take 100 people between 2 to 4 months to construct. That's massive. I repeat, Ijele can take 100 men between 2 to 4 months to construct. In fact, the United Nations, UNESCO has recognized it as one of the monuments to safeguard. It has a lot of, Ijele has material that has to do with bamboo stick, cane, multicolored clothes. And when you see, it's actually a sight to behold. It's like a bigger version of Christmas tree because it has a lot of colors in it. And Ijele can host up to about 45 other masquerades on top of it. Is that massive? In fact, you have to train the young men that will carry it. They will have to eat certain kinds of food so that they will have energy to carry it. Then the other type of masquerade that we have is Eyo. Eyo is found mainly in southwestern Nigeria. And it comes out during festivals, during special events, and it's usually very beautiful. It has a well-shaped cap and mainly white costume. That's how the Eyo is known. And it's very iconic, and it's very indigenous to the people of Lagos State. Then we have the Ekpo. Ekpo is also a Nigerian masquerade. They are believed to be spirit beings brought from the spirit world. Mark you, almost all masquerades in Africa are believed to be the spirits of the ancestors. Don't ask me how and why. So Ekpo is a native of the Efik people. Efik people are interesting people. These are people who Efik are known for their beauty and gaiety. Efik are known for sending the young maidens to a fattening room. By the time they come out, they look take away and beautiful. And that is also how they revere their masquerade. They are indigenous to Cross River State and Akwa Ibom State of Nigeria. Like I said, these Efik people are very unique people when it comes to neatness, when it comes to preparing, cooking foods. The ladies just told us that they've been cooking. You can't beat the Efik woman when it comes to culinary delights and delicacies. I think it's not wrong to say that they are the best in Nigeria. I stand to be challenged. Then we have the Ekpe. The Ekpe masquerades is a visual cultural reference to the leper society. Ekpe society is the most revered traditional institution in Efik history. They don't play with it. The Ekpe society is pre-colonial police and judicial system. Now, when I say pre-colonial police, it means the Ekpe society was already policing the society, ensuring justice system was already there, and it was the Ekpe society that was in charge. So that's to tell you, when we took the definition of masquerade in English form, and I said that is not what it is to the African, because it's like life. It embodies everything that has to do with life. Then I spoke earlier about Igwebonarimi. Igwebonarimi is native to Asian people of Edo State, and it is known for its acrobatic dance group. Today, they are seen everywhere. They used to be more revered in time past, but they are seen everywhere where you have events, festivals, and they entertain big time. Not even the Asian man will be tired of seeing the Igwebonarimi dance group. Not to talk of people from other lands. They appear in rituals, during ceremony events. They are common features, and they believe to be the spirits of the ancestors. Now let's cross over to East Africa, Central and East Africa. And let's start from Zambia. There is a MACHI masquerade group. It is performed at the annual ritual of initiation known as Mukanda. Mukanda is an initiation where young male adults from age 9 to 15 are initiated into adulthood. And usually, these people in this age group are taken away from their parents, sometimes to even the forest, for a long time. And right there, the young ones are taught so many things. So that's why I said, follow me. That's why I said the definition of masquerade in English language is not what it is in the African setting. If we take the definition of masquerade in English language and situate it in Africa, it loses its meaning. So this MACHI masquerade that comes out during Mukunda initiation ceremony is a very vital institution in grooming young people for nation building, for development, for order in society. What do they do there? At whatever period, depending on the society, between 3 months to as long as 1 year, these young children are taken away, like I said, from their parents, and they spend several months in an encampment in a bush. During that rather harsh period, they learn the rules governing the village or the community. And there are so many rules. They learn about myths, methodology. They are taught the myths of the community. They learn various manual tasks. Now, you know, I always laugh because of the dangers of single story. The white man came, and they are the ones who were ahead in writing. And they wrote a lot of things that are not entirely true. This Makunda exercise in Zambia and some part of East and Central Africa is an avenue for education. Great avenue for education, where they educate the children on manual tasks like skill acquisition, where they educate them on how to behave properly to women. Now, some people have this wrong belief that Africans are not civil. Connection between masquerade and how to groom young people to respect women. If it wasn't part of us, if it wasn't necessary, there wouldn't have been a time set aside at that young age between 9 and 15 to educate them on the importance of how to handle women. Of course, they are not taught to beat up women. They are taught how to handle women during that period. So when they leave the Makunda, which is a circumcision period, the male child is now a man. The male children are now men and ready to take the life in society, as it were. They must have been prepared. They must have been trained on how to behave in the society. And all the myths that is known with the society, the do's and don'ts of the society are taught in that place. Why is it expedient to take them off from their parents? They want to avoid distraction. It's like saying, I'm sending my children, I'm sending a child to university of whatever to go and study computer engineering. And there's a hostel built for them, and they'll be there for the next 6 months before they have a break. So Technically, the African society had boarding school where young people were trained to be useful to society, although it's coming from the agency of masquerade. But you white people came, or the Western world came and said, we don't have anything. You just took Africans away and said, these are idiots. That is not true. And we must rewrite the danger that single story has caused the African or the African continent. It's still being written. There's a strong belief about it. I am not saying that perhaps maybe everything about masquerade is all beautiful. Maybe there are no demerits. But most times, whatever that has merit, sometimes has demerit, depending on which one is galore. Now, let me tell you my story about, before we move into other types of masquerade, about masquerade. I was born in Benin City, ancient city of Benin, you know, that has a lot of cultural beliefs and still very strong. It is the same Benin City that the British came and looted, not only the British, Germans, all the Europeans that came because of the strength of Benin Kingdom and what they created. A lot of things were looted. I was born in Benin City. Then I was taken to my village, which is about 55 kilometers away from the city center. So I grew up there. And now my story about masquerade is that when we were young, we had this indigenous festival called Iwagi, and of course, the end of year. And we used to prepare for masquerade dance before that Iwagi festival. And yours truly was one of the leaders of a group. And we had these masks, which we bought, we didn't make it. But what we normally make is we use leaf to create our own costume that will match with the masquerade. Now, in trying to learn the masquerade, we learned a lot of things. We learned discipline. You have to be very disciplined. We learned songs. We learned dance. We also learned the myth concerning masquerade. Now, masquerade are so revered. Well, with our contact to Christianity, that doesn't seem to hold water now. The masquerade is seen as, like I said, as the spirit of the ancestors. So they are revered. You don't touch them. Even when we're going about in those days dancing, we'll have our whip. If the masquerade should whip anyone, you do not have the power or authority to retaliate. It will be treated as sacrilege. You don't retaliate to the masquerade. But I am saying it now because nobody will die. He's actually a human being, one of us that will wear that, and he's treated as a very revered person. And that seems to like placebo effects, if you want to take it that way. People respected the fact that they said it's the ancestor, the spirit of the ancestors. So you don't mess around with the spirit of the ancestors, because I'm trying to find out why was the earlier society in Africa more reliable than today. They were not lying. If you lied, you'll be punished. If you did anything that is against the traditional ethos and values, depending on the severity, you'll be excommunicated. Depending also on the severity of what you've done, you can be sent away from your husband's house, or vice versa, whatever. There was order in the land, and they didn't have Jesus Christ. So I always ask myself, recently I started asking myself, how come before the coming of the white man, the society was very organized and they were very honest? So I can now link into the fact that they had this belief system that the spirits of the ancestors are the ones that come out as masquerades. So if you go for any boil or judgment presided over by a masquerade, You are bound to believe it because the spirit won't lie. That was their belief system. And he helped them. Come with me. But fast forward to today, we're all in Christ, and we are told that God can forgive easily. I don't know how we lost it. Now we lie, we steal money, we do all kinds of things that they were not doing. You couldn't sleep with somebody's wife before. If you are found out, you'll be severely punished through the system. So what are other types of masquerades? Those that embody deities. You see why there was law and order. You see why there was respect for one another. Because deities are things you cannot actually lay your hands on. They were seen as superior beings. And anything that comes from that realm of deities, you believe. And it worked for them. They also embody, like I said, ancestral spirits to whom sacrifices are made. And now, what are the benefits? What are the values? What are the benefits of having masquerades? Masquerades evokes fertility and bountiful harvest. Although your spirit that is talking to you, I can contest that. But that was their belief. That it is the masquerade that blesses them with fertility, even having children, and of course, making their farm to produce enough for them and their family. It is also the power to punish evildoers. You couldn't challenge it. It's still strong in some societies as we speak today, especially in the eastern part of Nigeria, and even in Zambia, and some other parts like Angola and Congo DR. Yeah. What are the benefits? What are the other benefits? It serves as special. It serves as a spiritual. How do I put it? Reawakening or spiritual knowledge. It is a masquerade that they look upon in those days to lead them in spiritual matters, because it appears in festivals and in solemn occasions. Politically, it provides opportunity to reaffirm loyalty to either chiefs or kings. And so there are special masquerades that when they come out, you have to respect the kings and the chiefs. Culturally, it provides entertainment, especially for the young ones, young boys and young girls, and where they learn how to sing and of course dance. Imagine what I said earlier. In the land of Zambia, Congo DR, and Angola, children between the age of 9 and 15 are taken away between 3 months to 1 year, and they are being trained on the act of life. So it also serves a form of security and control. What I know very well, the eastern part of Nigeria use that a lot, and other parts of Africa. It helps to control unruly behavior. It helps to control bad behavior. It helps to control people who like stealing and lying and all of that. So like the Ekbe society in Cross River State, it helps to police the society and of course serves as a justice system. It stabilizes people's destiny. That is also a spiritual aspect of it. Then it's a modus operandi of a system of age grade. It is during when you want to have your age grade, like I went to, as a journalist, I traveled to a place called Arondizogo in Imo State of Nigeria in West Africa. And it's instructive to know that before the New Yam Festival, which is usually very well celebrated, especially by the Arabs, all their sons and daughters in the diaspora, that is their that's their Christmas. You may not see them around during Christmas, but during this Yam Festival. But that every year there will be age grade ritual. And again, these people are taken to the bush, not as long as the Zambian system of about months and all of that, but they could be in the bush for about 2 weeks. And again, they are taught how to be men. They are taught values of the community in Arondezogo. And from there, you move to the next 8th grade anytime they have that festival. Then I must point out this as a journalist, and I traveled there and I saw a lot of masquerade, different masquerades. When I say different, they are a beauty to behold. You cannot be tired because they are coming out in different shapes and sizes and with different costumes, made of a lot of materials that I can't name. I can't finish naming, but it was beautiful. But very, very beautiful. But sometimes they can be unruly. They will take their whip and give it to maybe a lady or a man without doing anything. Some of those women will run away. Some will want to have a fight and all of that. So masquerade in Africa goes beyond somebody trying to cover his face or not cover his face. So masquerade in Africa society are far beyond the mass, far beyond the mass. They are considered as having power and life and death. That is a belief system, and you must put into consideration belief system of the people. Now, once the body experiences, it passes it to the soul, and it goes into the subconscious of man, either work against the man or works for him. And when I look back now, I am not approving everything that has to do with masquerade, but there were good things about them. The African society was very orderly. The African society had values. We didn't have this mentality of grabbing everything. It is actually Western to have material things. Am I saying that we didn't have material things before the coming of the white man? We're more communal. I mean, imagine all the artifacts that the British took. Over 3/4 of those artifacts were stolen from the Oba's palace. In other words, chances are that creative boys and girls in Igu, after molding everything, can just take it to the Oba and say, Oba, talk by this is my contribution. They'll just give it to the Oba. So we're that communal. We're not kidding ourselves over who bought land and where and one luxury car and all of that stuff. No. So that we have to go back to that, because that's where the strength is. I'm not saying that capitalism is not good, because even then they were practicing a form of capitalism. I'm saying they were more communal, they were more their brother's keeper. It was not a matter of if I don't have it, I will die. Like some people are committing suicide even after making a lot of money. It beats me. So that's where the disconnect is. When the thin line between greed and being content, I think the African society had it right in those days. They were not committing suicide because they don't have a Mercedes car or a Bugatti or a Rolls Royce. No. The people who committed evil are summoned before masquerade, and they can expect to be severely punished when they are found to be guilty. Appeal to the masquerade is usually the highest appeal there was. So that is my presentation for today, and I hope I've been able to explain or educate us on what African masquerade is. Thank you very much, ladies. Hello, Lucy.
So I said I did not wear my African hat, but I had my masquerade on. This one was actually made, it's one of the workshop I did in the library, is to actually make the, I know you were talking about the masquerade was made out of fabric, raffia, that is the grass, bamboo, and everything. And so it's a continued project we're doing. So we actually get the children to, and all these are some of the scrap from all my design. We just actually put them together and made this beautiful. So we have them in different colors and prints. So just, I had my African, my African masquerade on. So thank you very much, Mr. Kelly, for actually, you know, that was something I was saying, because it was good that you actually brought out that issue that, I know what yesterday when they were celebrating the independence, I said, I find it very difficult to call it as an independent, because before the coming of the Europeans to Africa, Africa is already existing. So I don't see, I think the name, that independence celebration should be scrapped. We can celebrate it as an achievement of us actually getting our voice for against uprising. But calling it an independence like we've never existed, it's like there was not that. So I said today it would be a topic for another day, just for the whole of the continent of Africa, celebrating each, because it's kind of glorify the invasion of Africa. We celebrating, we got independent. This country in Ghana got this one got. I think it should not be calling an independent, for my own opinion, with my own time, actually looking at the whole history and heritage. It should be a celebration of uprising against, celebration of individual or country against uprising, against bullies. You know, it's like big bullies coming into your house and just bulldozer you, and now. Then after you manage to chase them out, you say, I got my independence. No, I think it should be called what it is. It should be called what it is. It's not just an independent, but it should be called what it is. It's a celebration of us actually telling the bullies to actually not come and oppress us. You know, it's just like somebody coming into your own home or your own flat and start telling you what to do in your house, pushing your chair one side, telling you to sit on the floor, now become the chairman of your house. And then when you manage to take them out, they say I'm celebrating. I think it should be called what it is.
Yeah, go on. Can I comment on that?
Yeah.
You are absolutely correct, Lucy. There are so many things that are wrong that we have accepted, and it's called informational intelligence. Now, Africa, like you said, has been there. Our societies have been developed, and some people that were able to put a piece of equipment into the ocean, and they got to us, and they arrested us, and they said they gave us independence. I mean, does it make sense?
No.
But we have accepted it as independence. So you are thinking right. You know, it's conformational intelligence. Yeah. So we didn't have any independence. It's just that we should move for Britain to pay us a lot of damages for coming to our land and defying it.
Yeah,
I don't want to go into that. I don't want to
that story is not for today. It's not for
exactly.
Today.
So, you know, one thing I want to bring out, I should tell me we'll have our own question. You know, when you talk about because of Christianity, or because of religion, there's been this condemnation of the culture and the value of our tradition, our heritage, like the masquerades. You know, when I started looking at them, and that was why I actually pick it as a piece of artwork to do as part of my project, you know, because I understand, because now we're talking yesterday about some of the things that is disappearing from our culture. One of them is language. And you can see through the masquerade have the language they speak. You know, the masquerade have its own language. You can see when the masquerade is there, the language is when the whistle they blow, and that actually change the drum, actually change the scenario, the movement. If you go to the thief land, you see the thief, their own masquerade. There's so much rich in the African masquerade, like what you were saying about the masquerade actually bring law and order. You know, if you see a masquerade, if you have committed a crime, you know what is coming for you. That masquerade will chase you in the dream, oh, they are sleeping, oh, you are walking, oh, the masquerade is there to chase you. I was telling somebody the other day, I said, in my father's house, they have this big shrine, you know, massive, massive shrine. And I know because of Christianity, everything that got to do with that shrine has been condemned. But this is your heritage, this is your culture, your tradition. This is something that is put in place to make sure that people does not commit crime. People does not take other people's goods. People does not kill other people. You do not steal from their farm. You do not go against the law of the land. So now we have actually used the Western system, the religion, and take away all this law, all these norms and value that guide us. And now we are complaining, oh, there's so much. Do you think with all these people kidnapping, if we still have our custom and tradition, they'll be doing that? The masquerade will visit you. You know, we won't be having all this problem. Even all our president, governor, before they become president, they should go and swear with the masquerade. Let me see how you go and embezzle money. You know, so all these things that actually make us who we are. And as you see that we have actually rejected it, or has been taken away from us. Today, as yesterday, somebody gave me an what they call it? It's a sculpture about the sculpture for the face of the Oni of is it the Oni of
Oni of Ife?
Oni of Ife. Somebody gave me the sculpture of the Oni of Ife. Do you know I have seen in 2018, that's the original piece of that Oni of Ife. I have it on my phone. The original piece was brought to the Woolwich Library. I do not know what it is, but I saw it. Somebody brought it from the Maritime Museum and brought it to the Woolwich Library. And he was asking, he said he want to ask information if anyone know any information about this work. And I look at it, I said, this thing look like something from Benin. Look at it here. See, this is it. This, I took the picture of it. This was brought to the Woolwich Library. So that was in 2018. I'm going to show you another piece. It was brought to the library from the Maritime Museum. I never know what I thought, and I would look at it, I say, it looked like the Benin Bros. So the guy said they didn't know the history about what that thing is. So they brought it they're taking it from library to library to see if anyone would know information about it. Only yesterday, somebody brought me a sculpture of that. And I said, I've seen this thing somewhere. Then I went to my gallery and I find it. And the guy was telling me yesterday that is the sculpture of the Oni of Ife. So the original piece is in the Maritime Museum. The original piece is so even them, they don't even know the history behind some of those things. So these are the norms and tradition of what actually govern us. It's like somebody has taken everything that make you who you are and tie it, like Otumokbo, and tie it somewhere. That is why we're not progressing. Because they take this thing, this is our ancestral culture, and somebody take it where it's supposed to be and be guiding the people of Africa. is not taken away and locked up somewhere, and you think there's not going to be a repercussion, there's going to be a repercussion of it. So, go on.
Do you want me to comment?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, my position has always been, because I've heard people, a lot of people give this narrative. Yes, they came, they took our identity, they took our values, they put us into shackle, they treated us badly, and all, that's why we're like this. Well, I am not doubting it, but the question, what I've always said is, if a man should come to you and your lovely husband and your lovely children, and he tells your husband, you know, Lucy is a bad woman, Lucy wants to kill you and all of that, and your husband believes, who are you going to blame? Is it the man that has come to lie to, or your husband that believes? It's your husband that you're going to blame. White people came here, they don't even have the morals they arrogate to themselves, whether you believe me or not. Because if Europeans and African Americans had the morals they arrogate to themselves, they won't do what they did to Africans. They came to just steal and enrich themselves. We should wake up now and say, oh, we found out that these people actually didn't mean well to us, for us. Ordinary about environment, they came, they killed some people. If you kill somebody, to take me to jail, why are you taking my property? So they went everywhere and stole property. So Europeans are naturally thieves. If they were not thieves, they wouldn't have come to steal. So we would have said, no, we are not thieves. We don't want to be like Europeans. But what do? We follow them to start stealing. Then they turn around and say, no stealing and all that. I watched something from Ted and may God bless some British journalists and human beings who say the truth. They say, you see, listen, you say Africans are thieves, but we're more thieves. And he gave them examples of how they bring money, stolen money from Nigeria, from South Africa, from Mexico, and they're hiding it in your banks. So the European has been flawed in their character in the area of stealing. They're just pretending. So we are to wake up and say, no mass. Let's go back to our original values of decency, of love, of character, and build our country. I won't hold the white man responsible. When we become strong, we'll now say, you know what? You stole 500 years ago. That does not stop you from being a thief. Come and return everything you stole. But we don't have the character. Can you imagine that you are all the things they stole from you, are asking them to bring it back? They say, oh, you can't keep it very well. That, like you said, that's not what we're going to do. But let me say the spirit of masquerade vis-a-vis Christianity. I am a Christian. However, there is nothing that is entirely bad, and there's nothing that is entirely good. Because I just told you that the society that I met in Africa was a very decent society. A society where women are respected. I just told you how they ship young men into the bush to train them how to respect women. You don't want to fight that because, oh, it's linked to a masquerade. You fought it, no. A society where they ship young men to the bush to learn craft. That's what China is doing today and everywhere. That's why we're producing things. We're able to produce artwork, all those beautiful artwork that can anybody produce those artwork again today? You know why? You have taken them to Britain. They've lost their identity. So they are not following that laid down culture that was producing great artists and great artists. Those artists that produced those things in early African society, they were not pursuing McDonald's. They were not using your laptops. They will look at the face of the Ooni of Ife. He will sit there, what Angelo did and all of you are shouting, he will sit there for a few hours and he will replace the Oba of Benin. Or they had that sense of mind, sense of purpose, and they knew where they were going. So, but today, we all felt that the African society, whether it be masquerade or our educational system, is no longer relevant because we couldn't read and write. Reading and writing does not mean, that's not all about education. If that is all about education, Lucy, you British would not have stolen what we created. It would have been rubbish to you. But they saw the beauty of that. And the masquerade is still has its own usefulness, even though it's not being abused. There's nothing that has not been abused. So that's my position. It's a beautiful thing, and I think one of those values in those days were the things that kept us. I still don't have the answer to how our societies were so honest. The people were so honest then, but now no more honest men in Africa. Beats me.
Thank you very much. That has been an amazing Tammy, I don't know whether you have a question.
So you said you didn't know why our people are not honest. If you look back in the olden days, the only reason why we became dishonest was because we were giving money for slave trade, and people wanted to be richer than the others. That's why the dishonesty came, because before we don't even know if you are stealing somebody's stuff or anything. We are all one. So when it's on the moonlight, everybody comes out, we all eat together. But there's something you said about this masquerade of a thing. I liked where you highlighted on the different masquerades. Because in Delta State, there's one masquerade called Ogbasa or Egbasa. That one is very scary, and a lot of children run away from it. But it's good that you said all this masquerade. Now, like the one that Lucy showed you, Lucy, that particular head, I've seen it with the Oni holding it like a rod on his hand, and there's one on top of his crown. So it shows that yes, you are very vast, and it's good. But Mr. Cletus, what do you think? Because now in the United Kingdom is Black History Month. Do you think this should be brought into as a curriculum, or you think that parents should just teach their children themselves?
How can we? That question is, so every day I cry when I heard that there's no more history. We're finished as a nation. History of what happened before. God is telling us everything that happened from the days of Noah to the days of Jesus Christ. Is it not history? So how can you wake up and you as Africans now say no more history? I keep telling you the history that I know, the history that I met, that's what I'm still relying on. So those people who said we will not study history again are the agents of Satan that has come to destroy Africa. We must go back to history. How can you not know where you're coming from? It's like you now, you don't know, Lucy does not know that she's from Nigeria. He doesn't know that the husband is from Benin. He doesn't have, how would he have been promoting African culture? Tell me, she doesn't know. When your history is taken away, you are finished. However, I am not saying for you to know your identity that is only from Africa, because the real identity is from the Almighty God. Everyone is straight, whether you are Hindus or you are Scientologists or you are Moonies or you are American or African, all of us end up with God. That's where our original source comes from. However, there are tribes. The Chinese is the Chinese, the Japanese is the Japanese. You see the Japanese, they can't throw away their culture. If you throw away your culture, you are dead. You are just existing. You are not existing. You are not even existing if you don't have history. No, you are not. Look at you now. You are smiling like a beautiful African woman. Then tomorrow I say, okay, I don't know where you are from. So your identity is gone. Immediately I saw you and say, you look South African this evening. So there's uniqueness about where you are from. That does not say that you should not love the Japanese or love the Chinese or the Americans. Of course, when a German is talking, you know that is German talking. Two of us.
Yes.
When Italian open his mouth, you know that that's Italian. How come we are throwing away our identity? What's wrong with us? Who bewitched us? Woe to those who remove history from our curriculum. Woe to them. God is going to punish them.
You know, one thing I want to ask, because I'm just going, because this is Black History. This is in Europe, in fact, in UK, this month is Black History. Now Black History 365. I'm looking at the young people now. Yesterday we did the event. Tammy was asking, we were so impressed that some of our young people that came to the event know where they could know their states. They know their states. But the language is actually, that's something is disappearing. But looking at a lot of our young Black people in the UK, some of them don't really know where they come from. They don't even know their states or their tribe or what language they speak. I understand that it is parents' responsibility, but also if you go back to the UN decade of the reparation of slavery of African living in diaspora, it's a part of that. There is a guy, there is a clause that actually said the people of the Europe, either Britain, all Western world, should make sure that the cultural identity of these people never taken away from them. So, because if there was no slavery, there wouldn't have been this massive migration of people coming to the Western world. So, since they're already here, they should be very inclusive, both through education, employment, to inculcate the culture and tradition. Because if you see some of the way a lot of our young Black people are living their life, there's no single culture, but you can tell the identity is there. You understand me? They know they are Black people. They know yes, some of them can be from Africa, some of them can be from the Caribbean, but you cannot actually pinpoint the custom and tradition that make them unique. So that is what Tammy was asking. Is it not part of the duty of the UK system or the Europe education system? They've incorporated other languages like French into the curriculum. Why is it that the African custom and tradition is not incorporated into the education system?
Because they don't have respect for you, because they don't believe that you are human beings. Even though they have it in their law that says that you can have a British passport, but we know that you have a British passport as a Black person, but you're actually not British. Now, I just made a statement, and I can prove you with a lot of examples in recent time. Let me give you an example. There's a young man called Saka. He plays for Arsenal, and England said, "Oh, he's good enough to play for us because he was born here, he grew up here, and all of that." He started playing for them. Boom, he was doing well. The last penalty, they gave it to a young 19. Young man, and he missed the penalty. The next day, you British said he should go back to Nigeria. That's how British she is. Now, Britain cannot and will not and will never put how you can develop your culture in their curriculum. It's not good for their image. It's not good for them. They are first and foremost selfish. It's natural to be selfish. So the question is, back home, our government should wake up. Our government should move our societies up to like Singapore. If Nigeria is like Singapore, Lucy, the way I'm looking at you, you can come to Nigeria 3 times a year or 4 times. Why not? Because it's easy to come. You come here to get information and all of that. You go back and all, so your children will also come. So by the time you start interacting with people in Iru and your husband's place and all that, because we have the money to do that, no, you won't be asking for Britain to give you a credit because they will be here all the time. I give you an example. There is no Israeli child, and I repeat, born in Japan or in America that will not go to Israel in 4 years. It's not possible. No, it's not. They will go back. They will teach them their culture. They will tell them who Israelis are and all. And no Japanese child that will be born in America will be in America for 5 years without going back to Japan. In fact, they take their culture to Japan and to America, 2 of us, because they are proud of it. So what we need to do, my dear Lucy, I keep saying it, if you wait for the British, you're British, to do all of these things, you will just get old at the age of 95, you are still saying the same thing. What we need to do is to come back home, you in the diaspora now, join hands and say 2023, we're not going to bring old men. We're going to bring young man and we will make that young man answerable to us. I'm talking about if, for example, Obi wins. Obi is not going to be aloof in our Aso Rock. No. If you, Lucy, want to see Obi, you have the right to Obi will listen to you. So let governance be inclusive. Let's build our society. Let it be like Singapore. Let it be like UAE. And you have money, I have money, we have access. Now, do you know that Britain is saying, no, not only Britain, a lot of islands have said they are not coming to Nigeria. And when they come to Nigeria, you pay more flying to Nigeria than flying to Germany. Are you aware? No, let me not say Germany. Flying to Ghana, you pay more. You pay more flying to Nigeria than flying to Rwanda. So what are we talking about? So it has to get to a level where Lucy will just stand up and say, oh, I want to go and meet Uncle Cletus because I need to discuss this. It's not a matter of phone. Uncle Cletus, I'm coming on Thursday. You buy your ticket and you are here. On Thursday, we go to the village, we spend like 1 week, nobody is going to kidnap you. Then you go back. That is a country we want to build. You are laughing. You're laughing. You know, you are afraid that you'll be kidnapped and you are telling British people to do things for you. No, they won't do it. You have to do it yourself. Bob Marley said, emancipate yourself from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our minds. It's a very instructive lyrics from Marley in those days. And it is true. Nobody will do for you what you ought to do for yourself. So we start from our government, put it in order so that Madam Social can fly into Nigeria 7 times a year. Yes, and even you say, listen, I am tired of Britain, let me go back. And if your country like Singapore, do you think you will be in Britain? Tell me the truth. Will you be in Britain? What are you doing there for? You know, Warri is beautiful, Sapele is beautiful, Benin is beautiful. Everywhere you go to, you can make money and you can live well. There's security, there's light, there's everything. You see that moment, there was a time they changed from, I told my security man, leave my generator, I don't want, I'm doing something with, he changed it when there was NEPA, he forgot. So that's our lot. We're 62 years old, we don't have light. So stop blaming Britain. Britain will not change. The Queen will not change. They won't stop stealing your money, whether you like it or not. They will come and take your gold. They will give you gun to kill yourself. We'll say no to Britain. We say no to bad governance. That's my position. No, if you have any other thing, I don't know how you're going to do it. Look at ordinary Rwanda. The man has transformed this country. You British are saying that he's a despot. Britain is a troublesome nation. I don't know why they are like that. They don't like Africans. Any country that is doing well, they will start attacking the leader. And Lee Kuan Yew was there, they attacked him. Meanwhile, Singapore has overtaken you, Britain. Are you aware that Singapore is more developed than Britain? Are you aware?
Yeah.
You.
Hello? It's frozen.
I think we need to round off now.
I think we need to round up.
Before he comes back.
Tell me, over to you.
Hey, hello everyone. It's been a fantastic day. You can see the pause.
Yeah, we are here.
Okay, I'm not so that I will not say what will offend them. Good night.
So everyone, take care. We'll see you in the next program. Take care, everyone. Good night.
Thank you, Mr. Cletus. Thank you for joining us. And guys, the Black History Month is just starting. We decided to start it with a boomerang discussion, and it's just beginning. So there's more coming. We'll still be here again with Mr. Cletus, and also be on the Instagram platform. And also, there's a lot of activities happening. Go to our website, www.blackfemaleentrepreneur.com, and see a lot of activities happening. We'll be in the library. It is Black History 365 all the way to 2023. So there's more to come, and you're going to see more of Mr. Cletus. If you want to hear, we call it the honest truth.
Yes, so.
Touch not. No filter information, raw from the source. If you want to get the raw material, the raw source of the information, block us again. I think we are back on the is it 14 that we are back here again?
14,
yeah,
yeah.
I think 14.
So we'll continue the discussion. Thank you very much, Mr. Cletus, for actually telling us about the African masquerade. The information was heavy, was touch not. And then for me and Madam Shosho, we say
Bye-bye.
good night. Bye.
Bye, everyone.